everybody. It's LindaG, and we're with our Sterling Sunday, you guys' favorite.
Good morning, everybody out there. Yeah.
And you just put out a video for Sunday yourself. So
it deploys automatically. Yeah.
It's on there. As soon as I stop here, I'm going to go watch it. So we wanted to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, the families, and to our deceased fathers. Sterling is a father, and yeah, I hope, are you going to relax today?
Yeah, I think Lynn and I will grab a brunch or something, or dinner this evening. Yeah, we'll do something like that.
Something fun. Yeah. What's the weather like, by the way?
Overcast. A lot of overcast weather the last couple of weeks down here.
Same with here, although the sun is shining now because they knew I was going to talk to you.
Yeah, got some sun yesterday afternoon. The air conditioner even went on, which is rare. For about half an hour or something. So yeah.
Wow. So listen, I wanted to do a shout out to my friend David C., who's in the hospital right now. He has his face is like this, and they're going to do a CAT scan and see what's going on. It might be an infected tooth or something. So if you guys could just say a quick prayer for him. Okay, and thank you to Linda and to Dan for gathering up our questions. I don't really read them before.
No, absolutely. I stay out of it, but Linda likes to just know what's going on your show, so it doesn't replicate on our show.
She's so good at that. I'm telling you. She's just in with the in crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, so shall we begin?
Sure.
Hi, Linda and Sterling. Will 45 ever be pardoned by any future president? We do get, may I say, a lot of repeats, but at first I found that tough, but then my guide said, you just keep them calm. Just tell them what's going on. So,
right.
Will 45 ever be pardoned?
I don't see it. My team and I don't see that happening. That opportunity won't come up.
Okay, thank you. Does Jack Smith have any spiritual gifts, and is he aware of them?
I believe he does. I get an affirmative yes on that, but I don't think he uses it in a classical way. He like deals from the gut and deals with his team. He knows when he's on the right track.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Through this whole ordeal since 2016, 45, by his own admission, has shown everyone, both foreign and domestic, the gaping holes in our Constitution. How much will be rewritten by whom and when?
I always get there's an additional like 4 amendments coming to the Constitution within about 2 to 3 years here. Wow. But there'll be things around voting laws, gun laws, enhancements to the Constitution. About 4 amendments coming in about 2 years or so, 2 to 3 years.
And if you prophesize that, then probably more than likely the Republicans aren't going to be holding the House. It's going to be our ability to make things happen.
I see that as the case. Yeah. And, and gun laws have to be updated a bit there with the Constitution, because, you can't carry a bazooka, for example. Right. So, yeah.
Okay. Can you see if Jim Jordan will be investigated and held accountable for his role in the insurrection and obstruction of justice?
I get a yes on that, but the year 2025. So something gets moved out. Maybe they put all these cases in queue, you know what I'm saying? And I get 2025 for him on that.
Doesn't he run? Does he run again in 24 or 25, or do you know?
I don't know. I haven't kept track of it.
I'd be curious if he loses. So, okay. Is 45 still in possession of classified documents?
100% yes.
I felt that too.
100%. And some are in Bedminster, some are in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if the question's in here. Forgive me for asking, but do you see that the United States will be able to take Mar-a-Lago or maybe Bedminster because a crime was committed there?
You know what? I get in about 3 years your time, Mar-a-Lago will be taken over by the feds, but due to income tax problems. So it's like seizure of assets based on income taxes is what I get.
Okay.
Not because of the documents case or
So it's still criminal with the IRS.
It brought down Al Capone.
I know. Wow. Okay. As predicted prior to the deficit deal and exactly as predicted on schedule, The Republicans are proposing to increase retirement age to age 70 for those born after 1960. Their justification that life expectancy is longer, when in fact, life expectancy for most groups decreased for the second year in a row, and thanks to the way Trump handled COVID. They are proposing more cuts to federal and social programs and increasing tax cuts for the wealthy. Will this happen?
A lot in that question. What I get up front is that they're not going to make it mandatory, like let's say move the mandatory age to 70, but within a few years here, they're going to change what I call a sliding scale. Remember, so when you take retirement determines how much you get.
Yes.
So I see them changing the scale and pushing the scale out a little bit, which means that, let's say if before you're going to get the top amount at age 67, they might push that to 68 or 69.
Okay.
I see them moving the scale a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Will 45 take a plea deal for giving information on other Republicans for his current or future indictments, or will Jack Smith and the DOJ pass on this?
Yeah, so he's got a lot of cases going on here. So that question is about all the cases.
I guess giving information on other Republicans for his current or future indictments.
Well, the way I interpret that, I don't see him taking plea deals. So he's going to try to fight it to the end and then try to hope that something else happens with a judge or something of that nature. So, yeah.
Okay. Years ago, when I was about 5 or 6, every night I woke and crawled down to the edge of my bed and would see a Native American sitting at our kitchen table eating. He never said anything. He just sat there looking at me. I never felt afraid. This went on for almost a year, I think, and then stopped. Did I see what I thought I saw? Who was this? Is he still with me?
100%. That was one of her guides. Okay. That was a Native American, right?
Yes.
Many individuals have Native American guides. I see it all the time in the makeup people's guides. So yeah, that was one of the guides.
Okay. Is 45 afraid of Jack Smith?
Well, this is interesting. I don't think he operates on fear. He operates on a little bit of stupidity. So
and anger.
Yeah, right. So fear. But what I do see is them having a lot more arguments with his legal team saying, you've really backed yourself in a corner. So I see all of that.
Okay.
So I don't see the fear though. No.
I've suffered with restless leg syndrome for over 25 years. It's an agitation of the nervous system. Do you see a cure with this? And if so, when?
So believe it or not, that's related to a very specific gene that the science community hasn't identified yet. Okay. So it actually will be identified, and there will be what they call a CRISPR-Cas9 solution for that within about 8 to 9 years. Okay. But actually, they have to identify the gene first, and then they'll do the gene editing on it. Yeah, it's coming.
Italy is having a terrible time with flooding and landslides. Do you foresee things getting better there? Or will Italian peninsula be subject to more natural disasters?
I get over the next 48 months, so it's like 4 years. It's going to be like once a year, kind of a major weather event around there, about once a year. But for some reason, after about 48 months or 4 years, it starts to calm down. So something about climate change starting to calm down that area. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when I read it, I could see more things happening.
Yeah.
People are going to have to change the way they live.
Mm-hmm.
Will Mike Pompeo ever face justice?
Maybe not in the way that people are thinking. I do see some sort of a conflict for him, like financial conflict, like taking contributions or money. So he's got like some legal problems coming up around money, but not around, let's say, the insurrection. I don't see. Yeah.
I thought he was talking about running for president, but he's not on the ticket, right?
Not yet, as far as I know. Yeah. He was going to run now.
Okay. Do you see Ginny Thomas being indicted, and will Clarence step away because of this?
Yeah, so it's all wrapped up into one kind of overall event. But Ginny Thomas, to me, doesn't, for some reason, that indictment gets delayed until after the 2024 election. Okay. So, but then there's something coming up in 2025 or something here that looks like then she gets indicted. But looks like Clarence is already getting ready to exit even before that time. So it all kind of goes together. Yeah.
I saw him looking at a calendar, trying to figure out when he can step down, and he's really hoping a Republican will step in, and then he will. But if Biden gets in again, he's finished.
Toast.
Yeah. MTG went on Fox and told them that while in a skip, a secure location where politicians read sensitive documents, she took notes and then proceeded to read those notes word for word. This is a felony, as you are not supposed to have phones or any writing materials inside skips. Will she be charged with a felony and face jail time? Anybody else would have, but.
Yeah, here again, there's a whole group of maybe 1/3 of the GOP that get roped into a big indictment. She's one of them. But it looks like for me, every time I ask this question, it's coming up around 2025. So it looks like after the presidential election, then they start getting down.
Then they really get down to business.
And then they're also down the road from a lot of the 45 trials. So there's something, they've got a lot of the 45 things kind of in process on the way. Then they start dealing with everybody else. Yeah.
It's so funny you say that, because I had a psychic flash of Jack Smith with his feet up on a desk. And I doubt if he's a smoker, but he lit a cigar. And I heard him say, give him more rope. Give them more rope. Like they're kind of stepping back and letting them hang, because just the fact that he's investigating is causing people to act crazy.
Right. Just like he tried to use the defense that, he didn't know that they were top secret, or he mind melded them. And then when he went on that town hall on CNN, he admitted he knew they were all top secret.
Yeah,
and
but I have the right to do this. I have.
Right. Yeah. So.
Can you feel a hug from an angel or a spirit of a family member? And what does it feel like?
On this side, we're talking about on Earth.
Yeah, I've been with patients who died, and I felt them go right through me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You can always feel the energy. And many times, angels will hug my wife and she can feel the wings around her arms. It's interesting. Or a lot of times, the most common thing most people feel are a big cold chill. Also, a big cold chill comes over you. That's your guides or angels standing around you, or that's a confirmation. When you say something and you get that cold chill, that's confirmation from the universe and your guides and angels. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. Do you think Jack Smith will have Judge Cannon removed from overseeing the 45 case in Miami? For instance, call her as a witness in the case of obstruction.
And what was the very first part of that sentence?
Do you see Jack Smith?
Oh, Jack Smith.
Oh,
Yeah, what I've always seen is that something's going on at the federal level where they're communicating with the local district judges, and they're actually setting up a strategy to have Eileen moved aside, Eileen Cannon.
I felt like he had a plan.
Yeah, no, he has a plan, and they're actually going to get her moved aside. And then there's also another case coming up in New Jersey. So it's all that they have a very good roadmap. Yeah.
Because even if the juror finds him guilty, she can say, well, I overturn it, or, and they can't appeal it.
Right. I don't see it going that far with Eileen Cannon. She won't be on the trial the whole time. No.
Does the Serpent Mound in Petals, Iowa, a significant spot that holds energy or a place of spiritual significance?
And what's that called again?
The Serpent Mound. Have you ever heard of it?
No, but I'm asking my team about it right now.
Okay.
A lot of prayers done in that area. So it looks to me like that's coming across as like a site of a lot of prayers or worship or something. So energetically, I'm not getting that it was first and foremost a spiritual location on Earth, but energetically, a lot of people worship there or prayed there or something. So that energy is still there.
Okay. I'm going to look it up after this.
Okay.
Since the AG in Texas, Ken Paxton, was impeached, can you tell if DeJoy helped in any way with discarding 2.5 million votes? It wasn't actual votes, it was an application to vote.
Yeah, I was just going to make that clarification. I think they were stopping the mail-in ballots. They weren't putting the mail-in ballots out there. So I do see, for entertainment purposes only, Paxton and DeJoy work cooperatively. Yeah, I do.
Oh, I love it. When both parents have passed, how do you explain the lack of spiritual communication from one parent when you have been raised by two loving parents?
So I never see that happening, but if a person asks that question, let's say individually, that might be that person is somehow shut down a little bit from communicating with that person. Most individuals I've ever communicated with talk freely from the other side. I really don't see much of the way people being prevented, but it's usually gets down to the individual. So who's here trying to communicate with them, whether it's you and a family member. Yeah, I just don't see it.
You know, I can't contact my parents at all. I might have a dream on occasion, but I can't say, Mom, what do you think? And I hear something, nothing.
They're around you right now.
Yeah, I know. People say that all the time.
They
But
are.
it's so funny you said that too, because I was thinking of my dad when we were young. He used to he was only 19 when I was born, so he was a child himself. And when we had a water balloon fight in the neighborhood, he would go in our bathroom and open the window, take the screen off, and throw water balloons at us. And he always had to win because he was a Scorpio. And he had hard too. That sucker hurt, but everybody's squealing with delight. And I was just laughing about that, how he used to love to play with us. He was mean too, but there was a good side of him. So enough about me. What do you think of me? Okay, so that was an interesting question. The Atlantic Ocean is heating up and circulation of waters is significantly diminished. Oxygen is decreasing. What is coming for the Atlantic Ocean and how will it impact the US and the world?
Well, like a lot of the bodies of water around the world, I mean, climate change, global warming is changing the ecosystem in all those areas. So it's changing the fish and the movement of marine life and algae. So it's all shifting. But over the next 5 to 10 years here, it's going to shift in a way that's going to kind of come back to a different kind of equilibrium. So it's shifting and moving. But yeah, there are big changes happening in all the bodies of water around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Italy. That's and I do see some pretty significant hits to the United States. But you know, I also want to bring out, while we're on the subject, major well-being and prayers to all those people suffering right now with tornadoes in Texas, Oklahoma, even Florida got a tornado warning, and it's hot, and then powerful rains and winds.
Yeah, there's
So
more coming. Yeah, more coming. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us about Walt Nauta? Do you see long-term prison sentences in his future?
I don't, and that's the co-defendant in the trial that's ongoing right now in Miami. It looks like he tries to stay loyal for a long time.
I saw him holding on. Yeah.
Yeah, because he feels like that's the right mode. Plus 45 is like breathing down his neck every day. They're still together. So, but it looks like in the end, somehow he will cut a little bit of a deal. He's not going to rat out, but he's going to cut some sort of a deal where it's not going to, I don't see a lot of prison time for him. If that
I
was
do
the
see
question.
prison time, but not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like maybe it's like a year or something, or 18 months. Yeah.
Yeah, he should have taken the deal.
Right.
How far down below the ground do the pyramids in Egypt actually go? Are we just looking at the tops of them?
I've read on this before that the pyramid itself, you're seeing everything for the pyramid, but there's an underground network of tunnels that go twice the height of the pyramid below ground. So are a lot of chambers and pathways, and that was an energy device originally. So that was like a big battery, the pyramid. So there's a lot of places for water flow and how the energy was exchanged for the pyramid. So twice the height below ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't Edgar Casey say that too?
I don't know. I haven't read anything, but
something like that. I was once told that each successive incarnation is better than the previous one. Is that true?
Well, I've always seen that energetically you move forward with every reincarnation, but not to confuse the set of lessons, because sometimes
that's what I was thinking.
Sometimes individuals that are highly evolved and older souls may come down to experience incredible medical challenges that you would say, well, wow, why would they do that? Well, they're down here to help the medical industry, help humanity. come up with cures, for example. So yeah, you always move energetically forward, but not to be confused with the hardships you put on your life path blueprint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What does the military in general think of 45 after he stole classified defense and nuclear documents? Are they still enamored with 45, or are they rethinking their loyalty to him?
I get a lot of great concern across the military because they do feel like they've been compromised worldwide. So they don't know where secrets have been leaked and what individuals know about our capabilities. What I see is that the military is on edge more than ever because they don't know what information was leaked.
Yeah.
That's what I see, and I believe it's a far distance from any kind of loyalty to 45. Yeah.
May I ask real quick, do you think
Sure.
you'll actually get some identifying thing that they know that he gave it to Putin or gave to, will there be something that happens that we know for sure?
100% will come out in the media. Yeah. And you can bet that the $2 billion that transferred hands to Jared
I've been saying that.
was not because they were buying Tupperware.
No, no,
So
he got it for turning in a lot of stuff they needed.
mhm.
In late May, I saw a news article entitled, New York City is sinking under its own weight, study finds. Apparently, it's sinking 1 to 2 millimeters per year from the weight of the skyscrapers, homes, heavy vehicles, asphalt, and humanity. Do you see this issue causing any danger to the people who live and work there in the near future or ever?
Well, I get the sinking as part of a geological shift, but that isn't where the danger is going to come from for, let's say, New York. Over a 2 to 3 decade period, it's going to be regular, like monthly flooding.
That's what I was feeling. Oh my
Due to
God.
rising sea levels, due to what's happening here. So it's not the 1 to 2 millimeters sinking a year. If the flooding was not there, you probably wouldn't even notice it. You know what I mean? But it's unfortunate, but it looks like New York will have to do something like other world countries to try to fend off the flooding, the regular flooding that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I got that picture of that. I don't see that kind of flood, but that flood that happened in that movie about Earth changes with Dennis Quaid.
The day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow. Remember
Yeah.
that huge flood? It was like,
I do.
Okay, this is a good question. El Salvador has become the best country in Central America to fight gangs, and the country is heading in the right direction. Will President Bukele send troops to Guatemala and Honduras to fight gangs and bring peace? And by the way, El Salvador suffered terribly, terribly. I had a lot of El Salvadorian friends who came here to get away from the brutalness.
Yeah. Yeah, I do see that that political regime sending down help, but the problem is that's an area they call the Triangle of Death. That's like El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, I think.
Yeah.
They call it the Triangle of Death. It's a very rough region. So I do see help coming from different governments and that particular individual, but I mean, they're decades off from getting any kind of control in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see a cure for arthritis in the near future?
Yeah, 100%. That's a CRISPR-Cas9 gene technology that's coming. That's 9 to 10 years, but that'll reverse inflammation. They're first going to tackle rheumatoid arthritis first. Yeah, it's all coming. Yeah.
Wow. What, if anything, will happen to those newly found ballots, Texas and elsewhere?
I'm not real familiar with that, except
I'm not
that,
either. I know about what
the mail-in ballot problem. I see whatever's going on there, and I don't have specific details, but it's going to get used as a leverage to rework like the postal system and the voting system. So I don't see like prosecution, but I see whatever they're learning there is going to be used to kind of reconstruct the system. Yeah.
Okay. Will the Fed seize Mar-a-Lago? We just talked about that, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Will Cornwell West, running for president in the Green Party, take enough votes to cause the Democrats to lose 2024? I've never even heard of him.
No, I know Cornell West. He's educator, professor, a nice individual. You know, it doesn't look like anything he's doing there will. It's like throwing ping pong balls at the Titanic kind of a thing. It's not going to have any effect. No, I mean,
the other one is Robert Kennedy.
right? Yeah, I mean, still not going to be a big effect on the. No,
Actually, Trumpsters are going towards Robert Kennedy.
right.
Okay, do you see anything coming up this week?
Yeah, we almost touched on it throughout this show here, but more information leaking out in the media regarding the documents in New Jersey. And I feel there's another, what I call whistleblower coming through around Miami. So somebody else is going to be surfacing here with new information. And also there's new information coming from the feds on January 6th. So there's something else going to get leaked here coming out in the media, like a new bit of information, like it's, you know, it's like putting together a big jigsaw puzzle with 1,000 pieces. Here's 5 more pieces. So it looks like some more pieces are coming for that. Yeah.
And don't get upset. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying the other thing we were just talking about on the show here was, unfortunately, everybody be careful, but you know, more weather events in the Gulf and East Coast and even parts of Europe here I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So it looks, the weather-wise, looks a little rough coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad. And don't forget that don't get upset because these people that love Trump will love him. They'll go down with him. It's just something that's going to happen.
Well, I've always said, unfortunately, you know, we used to have 2 political parties at the very least. Now we have 1 political party and a cult. So, you know, it doesn't matter what comes up on the other side now. It said, look, you know, he killed 12 people and he blew up Alaska. They'll still back him.
They'll still back him.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Very
crazy.
sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so weather related and some news on the front of
the January 6th insurrection, and there's something else coming out regarding docks in New Jersey, Bedminster, and also some other, like I've seen like a whistleblower somehow coming out of Miami. Something else coming up here.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you know that the media loves to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything you guys want to share?
Yeah, simple message for a lot of people that, you know, watch our show. The simple message is be the light worker you are meant to be. The world could really use your help. So that means everybody's staying in the right lane of traffic of love. You know, don't buy into all the anger and all the violence, and, you know, allow the universe to work, but be the light worker you're supposed to be. Yeah.
Right. And that fear factor can really work against us. And
really
that's what they love. They love to create fear.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. And now how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, real quickly, easiest way to get a hold of us is sterlingpsychicmedium.com, the website. You can look for the book a session tab, very straightforward. And we also have a YouTube channel, Sterling Psychic Medium. It's easy to find. So
I was announcing, I think I did a show yesterday, and, you know, I got a lot of people saying they're readers, but you were top on my thing about how to get a hold of you.
Well, thank you. You're top on my list too. Absolutely. You know, our teams agree so often, and I read people so often where we'll have a session with them. I'll say something and they'll scream, and I go, "What's wrong?" They'll say, "I just had a reading with Linda like 2 months ago, and she said the exact same thing."
That's what they say all the time to me.
Yeah. So I said, "Well, there you go."
But the thing is, I'm not reading anymore, you guys.
Right.
I retired. I'm too old.
And we have openings right now. I think there's openings right now in September and October in the calendar right now.
Oh,
for my sessions, if
fantastic. Oh God, grab it, you guys. Thank you, my friend.
All the best.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Absolutely.